All right, mask off. For
Oh, this is on now. Oh, we need one more chair. Oh, fun. Oh, wait.
Shabbat Shalom.
Come in. Wow, hello. Gordon, if you don't mind turning down my voice in the room, that would be amazing. Good Shabbos. As you're coming in, I'm going to invite you to come as close as you feel comfortable into the circle. Know that we love singing with you. We love hearing your voices. So good to see everyone. Hello. Come close, come close. Thank you. Yay. Yay. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos. Page 10. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful. Every Shabbat, it feels a little bit like a family reunion. We come back together in a iteration that is the same but different every week, a little bit new, a little bit exactly like our heart's pattern the same. And I want to say good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos to our friends on Zoom and on YouTube. I want to say welcome to Rabbi Joey. Welcome back after a few weeks away on Family Smachot, Family Joyful Occasions. What a great reason to be far away. Welcome back on this rainy Shabbat. Let's just take a moment and take a breath. I think starting with Yadid Nefesh is so sweet because the words of Yadid Nefesh say, I leap, Yarutz Avdecha, I'm leaping. Your servant is leaping like a deer. It's rushing. I feel like we're rushing to slow down. Right? The sense of zrizut, of moving with a sense of not urgency, but eagerness. Right? This movement of yearning that motivates us into motion. But the yearning is, and the yearning is for rest. And the yearning is for wholeness. So we move into Shabbat as a community, and we move into Shabbat as a planet, because Shabbat is a Shabbos for all of creation, all of humanity, all of the animals, all of the plants. Creation rests. So let's, as we move in song and in breath and in kavanah and intention into Shabbat, may we not tarry, a rabbi word, may we not slow ourselves down needlessly to get to the place of resting, right? Let's leap like a deer into a place that's a little more whole, a little more balanced. Here we are. Welcome to Shir Tikva. I just can't wait for a night of prayer and a night of learning and connecting together. And I want to say thank you so much to Jessica and Billy for leading with us. What a gift. Ready? We are going to light candles. With that was the candle lighting cord.
That was the candle.
That was, I heard that. That was the chord that said it's time to light candles and welcome Shabbat. I'm going to invite Beth Zemsky to join us here. Beth and Chris. Chris, will you come too? Will you come and light candles in honor of your birthday? Bring anyone you want with you. Grab people as you come. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Dear one, hello. Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's really almost Erev birthday. This Shabbos that leads you into your birthday. I want to offer you a piece of Torah and a blessing. Absolutely. So I'm going to offer you a piece of Torah and a blessing in honor of your birthday, dear one. This is from Pirkei Avot. This is from a piece of Mishnah that I love very much. Yehoshua ben Parachia v'nitai ha'arbeli kiblu mehem. This is something that we received. They received it. We don't know who they received it from, but they passed it to us. Yehoshua ben Parachia omer, aseh lecha rav, ukne lecha chaver. Make yourself a teacher and acquire for yourself a friend, a companion. V'hevei dan et kol ha'adam lechaf zchut, and give everyone you meet the benefit of the doubt. Read them with kindness and generosity. Treat them gently. Okay? My blessing for you is in a life where you have found teachers and become a teacher, and through your teachings and your imaginings of worlds to come, you have found yourselves companions locally and across this planet, across generations. I know people are zooming in to bless you from all over, and we have people in this space also who are here really to celebrate you. That you know that your teachings and your imaginings and your invoking of new possibilities, new ways of being together, have made friends for you, have made families for you, and have opened up the possibility of being able to read each other with more gentleness and more kindness. So I feel very grateful to have known you now for 7 years and to have witnessed you claiming this space of joy in the space of blessing. And I just want to invite this community to sing you a song of mazal, a song of good, not good luck, but of goodness and of blessing raining down on you in this new year. So mazal tov to you and to your loved ones. It is so good to be together. Mazal tov. Simin tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simin tov, simin tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simin tov, simin tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simin tov. Yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Mazal tov. We are so lucky to have Beth as a teacher of Torah tonight. She will come back up and gift us with words of Torah. We'll welcome Shabbat and keep singing on page 12. On the next page, singing a new song, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash.
Shiru Ladonai, Shir Hadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai. Adonai, Kiva, Lishpot haaretz, Lishpot tevel, betzedek, be'amim, be'emunato.
We'll turn to our colorful sheets, calling out with number 1, Ana B'Koach, for the strength we need to soften.
Ana b'koach gedulat yemincha, tatir tzerura, kabel rinat amcha, sagvenu, tareinu, nohora. Ana b'koach gedulat yemincha, tatir tzerura, kabel rinat amcha, sagvenu, tareinu, nohora. Ay, ay, ay. I believed in solid ground until I saw the earth in motion in the winds of steady change, and in the air rolling ocean. Ana b'koach gedulat yemincha, tatir tzerura, kabel rinat amcha, sagvenu, tareinu,
We'll turn together to page 20 and welcome Shabbat with Lecha Dodi. As we get to the 9th verse, I'll invite you to go out probably into the rain. If anyone wishes to go greet Shabbat in the rain or to stay dry here in the sanctuary, both are very valid places to meet Shabbat. Wherever you are, to throw open doors and windows to open ourselves to Shabbat.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem tiferet ve'ligdila.
לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, כי הנה מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, הולך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, הולך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך, עיר מלוכה, כולי מצי לתוך אפיך, רב לשבת במקבך, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה, הולך דודי לקראת שנה, פני שבת נקבלה, הולך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי, קרבה אל נפשי גאלה, הולך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, הולך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי בעורף קומי אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, הולך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, הולך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, פני שבת נקבלה. היי לך דודי, היי לקראת קהלה, היי פני שבת נקבלה, היי לך דודי, היי לקראת קהלה, היי פני שבת נקבלה, לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, באף יחפשו עניי עמי, ונשנתה יראתי מילה, היי לך דודי, היי לקראת קהלה, היי פני שבת נקבלה. ay, 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 likrat Shabbat, ay, 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 Penei Shabbat, Penei Shabbat,
Shabbat Shalom. Let's turn together to page 22. We'll sing this psalm for Shabbat as a seal on Kabbalat Shabbat.
What?
Mizmor shir, Mizmor shir, Mizmor shir, Mizmor shir, Mizmor shir, Mizmor shir, shir leyom haShabbat, shir leyom haShabbat, shir leyom haShabbat, shir leyom haShabbat.
We'll rise in body or spirit on page 28. Yum bada ya 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 da da 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 ya Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. We'll turn to page 34 for the Shema. If it's your tradition, feel free to stay on your feet or take a seat. You can be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושינתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך
ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
We'll turn to page 40, to the words of Mi Chamocha. There's a puzzle in this week's Torah portion that I think this prayer helps us to figure out. We hear in the first words of our Torah portion that the lights in the sanctuary and the temple were set up in a menorah, so these lights next to each other, facing outwards, and also somehow these lights were facing in towards each other in pairs. They were facing against each other. So what's going on? If you close your eyes, it's kind of hard to imagine. Are they facing out or are they facing in towards each other? The verse says both things. I wonder if there's something here to be said as we sing these words about crossing forward, about moving forward, about the ways in which the only way to do that is in deep relationship to each other, is sharing each other's light and shining each other's lights on each other. And so I'd like us, as we sing these words, to listen closely to each other's voices, to imagine what it would look like to move together, not as an individual, but as an individual in deep relationship with each other. We sing together on page 40.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha b'dar b'kodesh, norah tehilot, osef eleh, norah tehilot, osef eleh. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai Ям לפני משה ומרים, זה הביאנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. וגאה לו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
We'll turn to page 42. I'm struck just by this first word, hashkivenu. It's the causative. It means to, we're begging God to allow us to lie down. And I wonder what it would feel like to feel that ultimate permission to rest and sink into peace. I invite us into that wondering as we sing together.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha Ve'tachnenu be'etzah tova milfanecha Hashkivenu Adonai שבת שלומך ותבננו בעצה טובה מלפניך.
We'll turn together to page 44 and rise in body and spirit.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם,
אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים
עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We'll rise or root our way on into the Amidah, starting on page 46.
Adonai, Sevatai Tifta,
We'll sing together on page 62.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן.
In a second, we'll sing a prayer for healing. You can find our prayer number 2 on your colorful sheets. But before we sing these words, I'd like to invite folks to say the names of anyone in your life, in the life of this community that you're praying for tonight. I'll take a look around the room, and as my eyes pass you, feel free to say those names out loud. Tonight, we're praying for
land. We were all beautiful and strong.
What an honor it is to invite Beth Zemsky up to the Bima again to teach Torah tonight.
Hey, everybody on Zoom. So it's something when your birthday and you're also doing a little bit of work. I don't know. I don't know what that says about me, but probably Rabbi already said that. So really happy to be here with all of you. My mom's here tonight. Yay, Mom. Yay, Sheila. It's got some friends on Zoom. And before I start, I just want to say that I was channeling, it was great honor to ask to do this tonight. And I was channeling both Rabbi Ariel in terms of thinking about how to do justice to Torah. And I also decided to channel Rabbi Joey. I tried to have my sermon in the little book, but I couldn't. And so I brought the book as a prop and I brought paper. Thank you, Rabbi Joey. So one of the ways I'm going to channel Rabbi Ariel is that this parsha has a really long name that in English means when you rise or when you step up, but in Hebrew it is? Okay, what she said. Okay, so what I want to do in my sermon tonight, a la Rabbi Joey, I thought about 3 acts, but I can't quite do 3 acts, but it's a little bit of Torah, a little bit of meteorology, and a little bit of Joni Mitchell. Okay, so that's where we're going to this. And there is a lot going on in this parsha, a lot. So it tells, in a broad outline, it tells the story of the Israelites finally, I'm trying to make this higher, sorry. Much better. So it tells the story of the Israelites finally leaving their encampment at the foot of Sinai. They had been situated there at the exact same spot for about a year. And there's lots going on in this parsha as they prepare to leave Sinai and get on their wandering journey. So by the way, Sinai was about 11 days from where they were winding up that they spent 40 years. This kind of feels like driving on Minnesota back roads, right? So the parsha includes the beginning of sort of timeless Jewish rituals, things like Passover, the first Passover, the introduction of the menorah, as Rabbi Joey said, the tabernacle, the shofar, the Levites getting their job in the sanctuary. And by the way, the Torah also has a retirement plan for the Levites, which is kind of interesting to me. The democratization of leadership structures. Moses appoints 70 elders in this. There is a sin of overindulgence. There's racism directed at Moses' Cushite wife. And then there's communal healing of Miriam, as Rabbi Sharon talked about in her life. There's a lot going on. And then there are clouds. So all of the stuff is packed in the parsha. The most interesting thing to me are the clouds. So I'll read a couple of verses of Torah in English. So, verse 17, according to the cloud's departure from over the tent and afterwards, the children of Israel would travel, and in the place where the cloud settled, the children of Israel would encamp. And then in verse 22, whether it's for 2 days, a month, or a year, that the cloud lingered to hover over the Mishkan, the children of Israel would encamp and not travel. When they departed, they would travel. Not the best travel agent. So from the commentary, they talk about how there are 7 clouds recorded in the account of their travels. 4 from the 4 sides, 1 above, 1 below, and 1 in front of them that would flatten the land, to flatten the road in front of them. And not only that, but the clouds also destroyed the snakes and the scorpions. So these were some really something clouds. Really something. Those clouds surrounded them, provided protection, a path, predictability. But as we know, clouds are not always that way. So let's talk about clouds. Now's the meteorology part of it, right? So clouds are made of condensed droplets of water. When the sun strikes a droplet of water, some of it passes through the droplet and is refracted or reflected. And if a number of the droplets or the volumes is small, the sunlight passes through and the cloud looks white. That's the science part. If there's a lot of numbers of droplets, like right now, the cloud can appear dark because less sunlight reaches all the way through it. So clouds are also one of the most common metaphors in speech or literature. We can be on cloud 9. We can have our head in the clouds. There's the clarity of a cloud, which is not clear at all. There's dark clouds approaching, and of course there's cloud computing. So clouds are fragile, they're fleeting, they're powerful. A cloud can change quickly from a fair weather cloud to an angry, ominous, hailing-producing one. We've certainly experienced that in Minnesota. But the thing is, clouds, they not only show up as scientific wonders or whimsical things floating in the sky, they're also metaphors of change, transformation, and a symbol of interconnectedness. So the clouds appear in the Parsha when the group is about to move through the desert on their transformational journey to become a people. They don't know exactly where they're going, and they're having a hard time letting go of where they've been. They long for the food, meager as it might have been, and the structure of their lives in Egypt, even if it was in the confinement of slavery and oppression. For me, the most powerful piece of the Passover story is when we contemplate at the Seder that I do, that the real slavery of our people in Egypt is we learn to endure it. At times even long for the certainness of the narrowness of our lives in Mitzrayim versus the uncertainty of this ill-defined journey into a new place as a new people. I think about this quality of uncertainty a lot in our current political and cultural moment. We're living in the midst of a transformational time, a liminal time, with the ongoing rise of authoritarianism and fascism, climate change, wars, and in the midst of widespread demonization of those defined as others by race, gender identity, sexuality, religion, political perspective, and certainly even in our own congregation among differences of opinion. Uncertainty can raise anxiety and fear, but can also bring new awareness. As I started to think about this Kabbalat, Joni Mitchell's song, Both Sides Now, continued to play in my head. At first, I thought it was a useful earworm on a meditation on clouds. But as I listened more closely, the song transformed into a perfect anthem for me as I approached my birthday, and as I think about this liminal time. Joni Mitchell wrote Both Sides Now in 1969, when she was in her 20s, to work out her feelings about a number of losses and tragic experiences she had had. She recently sang it again at the Grammy Awards. Singing at age 80, her song was no longer a statement of fear, worry, or defeat. Instead, it was a statement of hope and excitement, about wonder, of not knowing and embracing uncertainty. The lyrics are, I've looked at crowds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow, as clouds' illusions I recall, I really don't know clouds at all. We're in a time when it's hard to see through the mists and the dark clouds around us, to see both sides now, to step up into curiosity and humility, rather than adherence to belief that we know. It's hard not to hang on to certainty, our own belief in our own rightness, even if that certainty is an illusion that comes from a time, a set of conditions, and a world that no longer exists as it once did. The climate has changed. It's not just changing. Our systems are broken. They're not breaking. Our culture is fractured. There's no going back. We have to leave Sinai and head out to the desert to create a new world, to become a new people. In this liminal time, we can challenge our illusions with openness or wonder that we really don't know clouds, love, or life at all. I think about how the Israelites in the desert might have responded to the cloud when it first appeared. Were they angry that they had no agency over their movement and can only move when the cloud appeared? Were they frightened and saw it as a storm cloud and darkness descending upon them? Did they see it as God's presence bringing them to a new place? Were they open to curiosity and wonder about the journey? As my friend and colleague Vary Kerr has challenged us to consider, if we approach the darkness as our current moment, as a darkness of the tomb or the darkness of the womb? Can we live with the uncertainty of not knowing which it is, the darkness of the tomb or the darkness of the womb, and move forward anyway to get to a new place, and to believe that this new place is worth getting to? No matter what happens next with the numerous challenges facing us, the upcoming election, the war in Gaza, Israel, yet another summer of climate crises, we will still be different in the future, fundamentally different, just as the Israelites emerged from the desert as a different people. In the context of the stepping up theme of this parsha, I think there are a number of questions that I sit with for us. What are we going to step up for? What are we going to step up to? Who is in the community we travel with? What shofar will call us together? What are the values, rituals, and practice that will sustain us on our way? How will we care for each other? And what multiple perspectives do we need to open to in order to stay connected to each other? As I enter my 65th year, with whatever I think I might have learned from hard-earned experience, what sits with me the most in this portion of my life is a humbleness of not knowing, of leaning into curiosity of uncertainty, of this moment and of the future. And with the reminder from Joni Mitchell that no matter how much living we do, there'll always be more to experience, another journey to take, and clouds to experience in a different way. Thank you.
They want you too.
Can't sing Joni Mitchell without Ariel.
Yeah. Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave them laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from all sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds. I've looked at life that way, but now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I look from both sides now, from within lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
Transformative Torah. We'll bless each other and open ourselves for blessing. Softened, opened, moved by Torah. If you want to sing, it's on the colorful sheet. And if you want to just open yourself to blessing, which is really the only thing you have to do, you don't have to look at anything. Hamalach hagoel oti, Hamalach hagoel oti mikol ra, yevarech et hane'arim, vayikarev bahem shemi, v'shem avotai, v'shem avotai, Avraham ve'Yitzchak ve'Yitgul harov bekerev haaretz. Yisimchem Elohim kesara kerivka kerachel uchelea כפרעים וכמנשה, יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה, יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום. Yalalai, 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 ay, yalalai, 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 oh. I didn't say this out loud, but Zoom friends, you're invited to pour your blessings into the chat. Yalalai, 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 ay, yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. May we find opportunity and hope in uncertainty. May we lean into uncertainty with curiosity and the desire to see the clouds from multiple perspectives. May we all find guidance in the clouds. May the clouds deliver to us whichever side we need in the moment. May we look at clouds or places of opaqueness from all sides and still feel humble enough to admit what we really don't know. May we all have discernment. Ken yehi ratzon. Yalalai, 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 ay, yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Just really such a gift to have Best Torah in the space tonight. I'm going to invite our community to rise in body and spirit as we begin to seal our service on page 284.
Ki Adonai, Tu Elohim, Hashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Havaya, Ki Elohim, Nenehela, V'haya Adonai, Nemelech al kol haaretz, Vayom ha'hu, Vayom ha'hu, Yeh Adonai We'll move in a moment into Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page 294. Before we say these words together, we've taken an opportunity for the last 9 months to pause as a community and use the words of Oseh Shalom to acknowledge the monumental loss that's happening right now in Israel, which has happened in Israel and is happening right in this moment in Gaza. In place of all the names that we can't say, we'll sing these words, orienting our hearts towards an end of this violence. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei In our community, we're recalling this list of names. As I read these names together, as I read these names, I invite you to raise your hand if the person was someone that you knew and you'd like to share just a sentence or two of story. Rabbi Ariel will find you with a microphone, and we'd love to hear. And folks on Zoom, please feel free to share about your loved ones in the chat. We're in the Shloshim, the first 30 days since the death of Corky Becker, uncle of Julie Jacobs. Ernest Williams Arnold Jr., Sarah Kanadz's grandfather, and Ruth Mary Rinker, Kristen Ruth's mother. We're in the yard site, the anniversary of the death of Stephanie Bloomberg, Maury Hartman's cousin, George Brand, Martha Brand's father, Mary Desnick, Leslie Desnick's mother, Annie Gehring, Claude Riedell's mother, Bill Grossman, Barbara Grossman's father, Morris Hartman, Maury Hartman's grandfather, Joy Haskell, Rhoda Hammer's sister, David Vogel Kerman, Sarah Kanaz's grandfather, Eric King Smith, Gail Friedman's stepfather, Samuel Loeb, Jessica Cohen's grandfather.
No bell.
Oh, my
It's okay.
apologies.
Can I say a quick thing? Yeah. So he was, my grandfather was very serious and pious and not, didn't really know how to relate to kids that well, and moved to Israel when I was very young. And I went there for Passover when I was about 7, and I cried because he ruined Passover, because he cried when the Jews were slaves in Egypt. It was like very heavy for him. And for me, Passover was so fun with singing and all kinds of things. So I kind of remember that. I just wanted to share that memory.
Joy Nimiroff, Rabbi Kathy Nimiroff's mother, Rose Retner, Jay Lieberman's grandmother, Ronald Roselund, Forrest Yesnis's grandfather, Jack Rothbaum, Susan Rothbaum's grandfather, Irvin Schloff, Pamela Gard's father, Earl Silber, Larry's father and Emily's grandfather, Maxwell Spunt, Michelle Spunt's father, Pearl Stein, Marcy Stein's mother,
My mom died 3 years ago, but I still hear her voice in my head. She was a fashionista. Her mother made all her clothes when she was growing up, and she had an impeccable sense of style until her dying day. And she tried to impart that to her children, but sadly, it didn't work. And what I hear in my head before I leave the house is, "You're gonna wear that?" So in her honor, I wore this.
Mildred Weiss, Kate Weiss's mother,
My mother was a very physically strong person. She had huge biceps that were the envy of my brother's friends. And she was hardly ever sick. Like, I don't really remember her even hardly ever having a cold. And she was very healthy until just a few days before she died at 93. But she didn't believe us when we didn't feel well and didn't want to go to school. And unless we had a verifiable fever or we were throwing up, we went to school anyway. And just the other day, I don't know why, I was just remembering this time when my brother really didn't want to go to school. He really felt horrible. And so when my mother wasn't looking, he stuck the thermometer in her coffee cup. And unfortunately, you know, back then, our thermometers had mercury in them. And it went all the way to the top and broke the thermometer, and there was mercury beads all over the kitchen. And my mom, like, made him go to school, and the rest of us stayed behind and cleaned up the mercury.
Lloyd White, Erica Sachs White's father.
It's been 3 years since my dad passed on Father's Day in 2021, and I've been reflecting a lot about the ways that I'm similar to him, things that we share in common. We both loved teaching, both loved science, like collecting rocks, both loved listening to music and making music, and we both shared beautiful penmanship. And I have decided that although I'm more of an extrovert than he was, I am more alike than I thought, because if I happen to be listening to videos in my Bluetooth hearing aids, I don't really want anyone disrupting me. And I can recall a time my dad was watching the McNeil-Blair news report, which was sacred to him. And when the neighbor was operating his chainsaw, he was so irate that he went to the neighbor's house and said, "Would you please not do that while the McNeil-Blair news report is on?" I was horrified. I hope I'm pretty sure the neighbor forgave him. But I definitely am kind of like that now. When I'm listening to political podcasts, I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to talk. So, Dad, I'm like you.
And Matthew Weiss, Shelley Miner's father.
My dad was many things that I was going to talk about how he was a character, but compared to your parents. But like, okay, so he died on my first child's birthday, third birthday. And then 2 weeks later, my other child was born, you know, the circle of life and all that. But when my first child was born, my parents had round-trip tickets from Pittsburgh to San Luis Obispo, California. They were ready to get on the plane, but only my mother came. My father was discovered at a fish market in the Strip District in Pittsburgh. Yeah, and to be in an Iron City beer commercial. And they bought his ticket. He couldn't pass this up. But he wound up on the cutting room floor because he could not pretend this other woman was his wife. And he didn't take direction well, but his old beat up Buick made the cut. And so that was in the commercial. And he later got to meet Becca, so that was good.
You can't believe how Pittsburgh that story was between Bankowitz's and Iron City. That was beautiful, Shelley. Does anyone have any other names that they'd like to bring into our space today?
So Arthur Schultz was my mother's father, my Zadie, and I think Shartikva might have him on the list next week, but he didn't ruin my Seder, but I ruined his, so I thought it was appropriate to share this week. He was a Roosevelt Democrat, a patriot. He argued weekly when I was a very young child with my uncle about the Vietnam War. He was pro-U.S. involvement. He loved Roosevelt because he saved the country from communism. I think he misunderstood communism and the state of the class struggle in the U.S. at the time, but that's another drosh. He was very, very concerned that when he passed, somebody would take over leading the family seders. So he tried to recruit men in the family regularly. His one son, who did it a few times out of loyalty but didn't like it. I was asked like 5 times. I said no 4 times. And the 5th time I was like, Mom, you know if I do this, I'm gonna do it like not the way Zadie wants it done. She's like, oh, he knows. So I brought printed copies of the New Jewish Agenda Haggadah, and my Zadie said presente every time the New Jewish Agenda asked him to, and that became a big fight in my extended family when I wasn't there. And I only recently learned who thought I did the right thing and who I thought did the wrong thing. But my Zadie was a trooper. Like, his heart was partly broken, but he did everything he was asked to do.
Anyone else?
So, although it's not his yahrzeit, I really couldn't get through this evening without remembering my twin brother Bob, who also would have had his 65th birthday. And for those of you who got the Shir Tikva newsletter, there was that little picture that was supposed to be the baby picture of me, right? You might have noticed it was also of him, because Exhibit A, I don't think there's any baby pictures of me without him. Right? She says right. So on my 60th birthday, I want to remember my twin brother Bob, and who died of HIV in 1990. And just as we enter Pride and all the changes we've seen for the queer community that I never would have kind of imagined, that I'm sure he never would have imagined, just with remembrance for him and all the community that stood up for HIV and got us to this place for Pride for 2024.
My grandpa, Gregory Zaretsky, it's his yahrzeit. 20 years? I might be getting that wrong, but it's been a while. He was my first grandparent to pass. He wasn't the one I was sort of closest to, but I'm thinking right now of a picture where like he's holding little me and he's like really, really dark skinned, even though he's same Ashkenazi, and I'm like this like pale, very pale little child. So the contrast is really funny. My mom and aunt, they talk about how he wasn't afraid, how he had this like really thick accent and just like showed up in the US and just like did shit and said shit and got what was needed. And I realized the significance of that is everyone else in my family is super afraid. So maybe there's something to draw on.
We'll rise or root and say the words of Kaddish together on page 294. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah be'alma divra chirte v'yamlich malchute bechaye echon uvyom echon uchaye dechol beit Yisrael b'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehe shmei rabbah mivorach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekucha berechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen.
You may be seated. Invite Julie Jacobs to come offer some announcements. There's a lot coming up.
2 microphones, wow. Here, I'll take the other. No, I'm kidding. Okay, yeah, I'm Julie Jacobs. Thank you for being with us tonight. It is an immense joy to be together. At the end of the service, please return your prayer books to the usher table and separate the song sheets. Mazel tov to Besemsky, and Mazel tov to Gail and David on their 18th anniversary.
You're coming up in just a moment.
Yeah, I figured. Thank you to all of you who made tonight possible, Rabbi Zariel and Rabbi Joey, Gordon, Eric, the Macomb Minion, me, and Lori Sweet. Thank you to our Shomrim and Security for your steady presence. Find all of our Shir Tikva programming updates in our weekly e-news and on the website. We're offering childcare for children between the ages of 2 and 10. Check our website for details. This Sunday at noon, we'll be hosting a lecture with a leader from Standing Together, a movement supporting peace in Israel. We're also launching a series of new small groups focused on Israel-Palestine. For details on the lecture and these chavurot, check out the Israel-Palestine email that went out earlier this week. Joey Weisenberg, a wonderful Jewish musician, is in town and will be giving a workshop at Shir Tikva on Tuesday evening. Pride is this weekend, next weekend. It's next weekend. If you'd like to march with J Pride and other folks in the Jewish community, or if you'd like to take part in J Pride's Saturday morning service, talk to Rabbi Joey. Next week's Shabbat service will be a max required service. If this isn't the best fit for you, please join us on Zoom. A reminder, what? Right. A reminder that your community is here to support you, so please reach out to the rabbis if you encounter a life change so they can activate the Shir Tikva network of support. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Just to underscore, the harmonies in the room have been so beautiful tonight that I hope that every single one of you comes on Tuesday night in this space to sing with Joey Weisenberg. It's going to be so epic. He's not asking for people to pay for tickets. He's asking for people to join. He has an abundance of resources online, and he just wants people to get these resources. That's how you can come to the concert. But he also says anyone can come to the concert, so please come, 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Bring your harmonies.
Mic is dead.
It's not.
Oh, it was right before. My apologies.
Okay. It is my joy and delight to invite Gail and David to join us on the Bima. We saved this sweetness, this savor of sweetness till the very end of the service to be able to celebrate. We get to celebrate love. Come on down, you two. Yay, Gail and David! Gail and David are celebrating their 18th anniversary together. This beloved duo. Hi, come here, Mazel Tov. So I blessed Beth earlier with this idea of acquiring for yourself a teacher and making a friend, chaver. I want to bless the two of you with chavruta, which I don't have to because you have it. Chavruta, this partnership of learning, the depth of companionship and love and respect that you two model and cultivate like gardeners of the heart. It is such a gift to get to be in community with each of you and with both of you. And I want to offer to you the image of the kruvim, of the cherubim, the two faces that sat on top of the Mishkan. It's a little esoteric, but come with me here. The rabbis of Talmud wonder, how do these two faces, how do we know that God was there? And how do we know in these two faces what direction they were looking? It's like the candles question. But the rabbis settle on this idea that God is present when the two faces face each other in listening, and that was a sign that the people were connected with the divine, people were connected with each other. So thank you for modeling the kind of relationship of deep facing, of deep accompaniment and love. What a gift to get to celebrate love. So we're going to get to celebrate and sing again, and then you'll bless on sweet grape juice. Simin tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simin tov, simin tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simin tov, simin tova, mazel tova, simin tov. for celebrating this 18th, this Chai anniversary with us. I'm going to invite you to lift the cup. This little. That means you're on for Chal. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon chilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reshit hihu yom tchila le'mikrahei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mohavim Shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava v'ratzon im chaltanu Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh Shabbat. And David, if you'll uncover the challah. You're just such a good team. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avot. Shabbat Shalom. We'll close with a nigun.
Hey,